and welcome to Property Palz.
He's done it again. Welcome back. We're great. It's great to have you again. What episode number?
Now we are up to number 6. Wow. Well, it's been what a journey so far, and I'll tell you what, properties are selling.
Selling. Some are selling.
Some are not selling. But what's really interesting, Mark, that I've seen recently, because I save so many properties in my domain and realestate.com.au apps, that I get notifications that there's been a couple of properties that have been selling before auction.
And why does that happen usually, Ben?
So I think at the moment it's a really interesting market, because while on one side we've got, you know, in the news you read that property prices are going down, that over the last 12 months or 18 months, properties or median house price and unit prices dropped 10% or so across the whole market. Rents are going absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
And rents are probably up well more than 10% over the last 12 months or so.
22%, I think, the last, anyway, yeah.
So with this kind of, you know, conflicting forces in action, a lot of people don't know what's going on. So I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone looking to rent a property, and I'm going to inspect a unit in an area that I like. So I'm going to line up, and there's 30 or 40 people there at the inspection. I need to put forward an offer before the property, I even get to the inspection, to actually have a chance of renting the property.
Yeah.
I think there'd be some people going, you know what, I'm just going to buy.
Yeah, and I think you're right with the buying as well. Sometimes when you're selling and you're not really sure about the market, how many people are going to turn up at an auction, then you might sell prior to auction, because if you don't have many people at the auction who are bidding, if you have 1 or 2, it's really hard to get that competitive tension going throughout the actual auction itself, which will increase the price.
Correct. And then also too, for someone, if you're getting a price that you're already quite comfortable with, or maybe the agent is saying, look, I'm not sure if we can achieve any higher than this at auction, you're probably just going to take the safe option and just take the sale before auction.
Yeah, and
so
take the stress out of it, hey?
Absolutely, because it's a really nerve-wracking process for sellers and for buyers at auction. But all in all, it's really interesting to see that properties are selling. And in fact, I read recently that CoreLogic released data that they think that the recovery of house and unit prices will be earlier than expected. Because they thought that, you know, with all these rate rises, that's making the cost of money more expensive for purchasers and buyers. But there's going to be more like a V recovery or so because of migration coming back into Melbourne, and also just these forces that we're talking about. Now, you studied microeconomics, I know, back at university. So when demand is greater than supply, prices go up. Yeah,
well, and this is, I'm not going to say who, but I've been talking to lots of people in industry, specialists in terms of research and understanding the market, and they do think that we might have a few more increases in the cash rate, but at a point in time, potentially later in the year, we might see, and early next year, a cut or a stop. So, which will be great, because that means that we kind of hopefully hit the peak in terms of the interest rates have hit their peak, and hopefully they'll come down a bit more.
And then there's a bit of certainty for a buyer that, oh no, there's not going to be another 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, you know, interest rate rises.
Yeah,
so that they go, I know what the cost of money is.
Yeah, exactly. And then that'll mean, hopefully, prices go back up.
And then we buy.
Yeah, no, we buy at the low.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what we have to do.
Anyway, we've got top 5 properties for the week. I'm super excited. We've got 5 really interesting and unique and good properties that we're going to talk to you today.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I'm going to start with number 5. Now, number 5, I've got Unit 4 at 33 Bacito Street, Richmond. Ooh. Now, Marcus, let me sell you to this. You like unique properties, right?
Love them.
You like properties with a little bit of personality, don't you?
I like character.
And you like properties with a little bit of land component too.
I love a lot of land.
So this property is really unique. Now, we are basically a stone's throw from Bridge Road, so right in the centre of, you know, a hustling and bustling, really interesting place with coffee shops. You know, you're very close to Epworth Hospital. It's just a tram ride away from the CBD, right in the heart of it. But this property here, it's 4 townhouses, or essentially townhouses, that are kind of positioned in between 2 unit developments. Now, if you look at the photo, it's got personality, doesn't it?
Well, you don't call it normal, do you? You normally see a rectangular built form shape, and this one's curved at the top, Ben.
It is, and so what's unique about it is that it's 4 kind of townhouses or so that slot in between, and then
slotted in between high rises, I'll call them, or medium, like they're, what, 6 stories next
6 or
door?
7, at least they're higher up or so. Now, when you look at it, you're kind of right in the heart of things. Now,
hustle and bustle.
The hustle and bustle. With this one, it actually doesn't face Bacito Street. it faces the rear laneway at the back. So if you look at the photo of the kitchen, it looks really nice. There's not much of an outlook.
Well, when you say it looks good. Like it's not obviously been recently renovated, but there's not much of an outlook. And what does that mean, Ben? Not much natural light?
Well, what's interesting, I did have a look at that. Ooh. Now, in terms of the northern aspect of the property, now I think that's right, northern aspect of the floor plans. Let's just have a quick look. So the eastern aspect looks over the laneway and you look straight into another property. However, I did do a little bit of research. The property over the other side of the laneway, it's only about 4 stories high.
Could it go higher?
You're still going to get potentially, but then it's units already. So very unlikely.
And when Ben says it's unlikely, it's because there's individual people who own units in the same complex. So essentially you would have to get near 100%.
Well, at least the planning requirements at the moment require that 100% of owners of that property across the laneway need to go, okay, we're going to sell and then you're going to build up. But at least for the moment, it looks like that won't be built. Northern aspect, yes, most of the living room area is facing north. However, you see it's just the back of another property, and see those sort of ducts, vents. That to me looks like it's car park then, maybe.
Those vents are actually on our property. Oh, they're the screens. You see
they're
here?
just screens.
Yeah, just
well,
screens.
There you go. So I was wrong there. But anyway, so the northern aspect isn't particularly tantalising. However, you still get a little bit of northern light from there.
Yeah.
I think the internals look really cool. It's got character. There's someone that would go in there and go, you know what, this is really nice. It's only got 1 bathroom.
Do you like a curved roof in your bathroom, Ben?
I think curved roofs gives a bit of personality.
Yeah, I do too.
Anyway, it's probably quite high, the roof there though. You can see that top level there has quite a high roof, or quite a high ceiling.
And you go back to it as well. I'm just looking here. So it's got 2 car parks, Ben?
Well, now, without having inspected the property, you drive your car down to the ground, and I'm guessing that it's common cars. So there's 2 car spaces. Is there 2? Yeah, 2 car spaces for every one of these townhouses or units. And then above level 1 is where you've got your living room and your balcony area, and then level 2 you've got the 2 bedrooms. Now, shared bathroom, not ideal for everyone, but then again, it's got a lot of X factor. It's right in the heart of things. It's different from other things around, so there would be someone that I think might fall in love with this property. Would it be everyone's cup of tea?
No, probably not. Like, it's asking 1 to 1.1 million, and it's $1 million. Like
for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, and it's got a land component of what, 80 square meters? Do you think?
I think we did a little bit of research. There's 350 square meters of land across those 4 townhouses. The land then per townhouse or per apartment is approximately 80 square meters.
Cool.
So that's still over 11, 12.
Just a bit more than 80, but yeah, it could be.
Long and short of it is that it's not like you're buying below. You're buying, where you're getting a discount and you're buying it at land prices.
Yeah, it's a unique one. It's got land. I'm not sure. Would you buy it for $1 million?
I think $1 million can get you a lot around. I probably personally wouldn't buy it, but it does have unique aspect to it which would appeal to some sort of buyer. Yeah. It's in the heart of a really nice location, and look, for some sort of person, I think particularly maybe if they're working at the hospital, it would rent quite well, I would say too. It could be something that appeals to them. Yeah,
Richmond, you're in the hustle and bustle, how Ben says it, so I don't mind it.
I think let's jump on to number 4.
Yeah, let's go number 4. All right, so this is me, 24 Mater Street, Collingwood, and it's Mater Street, Collingwood, 3-bed, 1-bath, 2-car, and it is quoting $1.5 to $1.55 million. Located at the top end of Collingwood near Alexandra Parade, great access to the freeway, buses, trams. Smith Street is just a stone's throw.
Just a stone's throw. We're throwing a lot of stones, aren't we?
Yeah, so it's very close. Restaurants, bars. It's really tantalising, as Ben would say as well. And it's close to the CBD.
Now, Marcus, that is an attractive property. That looks very well designed.
Yeah,
Can you comment a little bit on that?
Yeah, well, do you like concrete block?
I love concrete.
Yeah, well, the concrete block, this architect's gone for the bare basic essentials. So it's designed by, done my research, Cheney Architecture. This superb tri-level home resonates quality and style at every turn.
Wow.
That's what the listing says, and I agree.
I think this was actually designed by the architect and then they lived in it themselves.
Oh, really?
Maybe. I think I read that somewhere. Maybe not wrong. But anyway, it's architect's design. It does look quite unique on the inside.
I think it does. It's a very skinny block, Ben. When I say skinny, very skinny. 4.8 square meters wide max.
Wow.
Now, can you tell me and explain how wide terrace homes are normally and why they are perhaps at minimum of 4.8, 4.5 square meters?
Well,
meters wide?
If you're going to leave room to provide light access, a bedroom, and then a hallway, what's our average,
Yeah,
bedroom?
well, you have 3 metres, and then you probably need a 1 to 1.5 metre hallway. 1.5 metres better
Plus
than
the
1.
walls in between,
Yep.
so 3, 4, 5. We're talking at least 5.5, 6 metres, right?
Well, this is 4.8.
So that is skinny.
Skinny, yes. And when I say skinny, like the light coming in, it's good, but it has 2 bedrooms, both very generous, on the first floor. The main appears to face south and it's 3.3 times by 4.5. The only downside is that perhaps the bathroom doesn't have direct access door to the main bedroom. You have to go out, but it is an ensuite. And when you look at the ensuite pictures, wow, the tiles just look yummy. And then if you actually look, Ben, at the toilet itself, it looks really high tech, and I love it. You see?
It's one
on
of
the
those
side. Yeah, it's a massive. It's
You're
one of the
getting bang
massive.
for your buck, aren't you?
Yeah, you're getting bang for your buck.
Look, I think what's interesting, it's a 3-bedroom house. The master bedroom upstairs doesn't have an ensuite that will...
Well, it does have an ensuite. It's just not connected directly. Like, as a sense, if you look, there's 2 bathrooms, and then one you just go straight out, and then the other person can use this one here.
Oh, but that's not upstairs. So upstairs on the 2nd floor, you see that, that's the bedroom retreat. So 3 levels. Would you say the master is upstairs, or would that just be more, so
I would
that's
say,
a retreat?
or if you look at
Okay.
the photo, it's a bit of a, like the photo of the topmost bedroom, have a look, it's all wooden
So
and
it's,
it's a
more,
bit,
it's like a cubby, it's like a study, maybe
I'd
a
say
study
a kid's room
yeah,
maybe, or a
okay.
teenager.
And so, well, then that might be okay. Then
Yeah,
they might
yeah.
be willing going to the top floor, the master's on the 2nd level, and then the ground floor is kind of the living area.
Yeah.
What orientation is it, Marcus?
It's X Factor, so I think it faces north-south. Let's just double check that.
Yeah,
north-south.
facing.
So the north-facing backyard is great. It has a car park that comes off the back of the row, which is also good. I love the X factor of the retreat. It's pretty cozy. In terms of calculations, I like to do a bit of a quick...
You are a man of mathematics.
I love maths. 108 square meters of land.
Yeah.
Like, Ben, that's tiny. Like, when you compare it, that's pretty tiny. Like, this is a house. The other one was a
That's
apartment.
right, it was a
unit.
townhouse, and it had about 80 or 80 and a bit square metres.
And if you look right here, I've done a quick analysis.
Well, that is
1.55 divided by 108 equals about 14 grand per square metre, 13, 14 grand per square metre. Wow.
Well, I think basically what that's saying is that you're not buying the land cheap, but it's already been improved. So there's already a house on top of it, but it's not on a square metre house rate, I guess. It's not looking particularly like an absolute cheap bargain. But it's
It's a house.
beautiful
It's got improvements.
So,
and I like the look of it. And to be honest, would I pay 1.5 to 1.55? It's great position.
and it's ready to move into.
It's ready to move into. I don't mind it. Yeah.
I think it's
So
good.
that's number
Great
4.
suburb.
Do you want to go to number 3?
Well, now we're into our top 3. Number 3 this week is... Now let me introduce
Inkerman?
this to you. It is Unit 51, 9 Inkerman Street, St Kilda. So we have jumped on the plane. We're going from Collingwood all the way down to St Kilda.
quick trip.
It's an exciting suburb, very vibrant, lots of things going on. And when you see this, come on, what's a word that comes to mind when you see it?
X factor.
X factor.
Yeah.
I think so too. Now
2
this
words,
is
yeah.
a 1-bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car, Neo Metro designed.
Oh, did Neo Metro do it?
Designed unit development, correct? Right in the heart of Inkerman, St Kilda.
Neo Metro, do you want to just explain for others?
So Neo Metro is very well-known, well-regarded local developer in Melbourne. Now they've done a lot of different stuff around these kind of really vibrant areas.
In Brunswick.
Collingwood, Brunswick, I think Fitzroy.
I know
these sort of
Brunswick,
areas.
definitely, yeah.
And Brunswick, they're quite active. Anyway, this one was developed. Inkerman Street, it's a very vibrant street in St Kilda.
Hustling, bustling.
A lot of hustle and bustle. And when I saw this, I just thought straight away, again, very unique. It's an absolute pad.
It's a bachelor pad as such, I reckon.
Or, the opposite of whatever you want to be sort of pad.
Exactly, yes.
But what's unique about this one is that, do you know how big the internal area is?
No,
in this
I
one?
don't, Ben.
It's
How big?
113 square metres internal area,
Single
8 square metre
apartment.
balconies. Now, I actually can't tell you whether that 8 square metres included or not in that 113 square metres. But regardless, the quote is $600,000 to $660,000. So that comes out to a very, very, very attractive $6,000 to $7,000 a square metre on internal area.
And what about on land? Oh, this apartment.
This
sorry.
the land, you
So
wouldn't look at
can
this
I
one
just
so much.
ask, that bedroom living area, 7.6 times by 7.3. Now, Ben, that is huge.
That is humongous,
So
right?
is there any possibility, do you think, of making it 2 bedrooms?
If you wanted to, now, again, you probably could. You could just maybe partition off part of it so there's one bedroom on one side, one on the other. Maybe that is.
Windows though.
Well, yeah, maybe not. Maybe a little bit, or maybe you don't like windows anyway, and natural lights.
Exactly. Pre-2016, where we allowed rooms with no windows.
Now, what's great about this, though, I can just see some sort of person, you know, if they just wanted to themselves, or maybe it's a couple, or maybe it's, you know, not too many people living in the same space.
Yeah.
But this could also be like a home office.
Yep.
You got living downstairs. Maybe you got your bed upstairs, and also your kind of your study or your work area upstairs. Like it's really attractive. And then when you look at the pictures of it, like there you go.
Wow.
White Fox, classic black and white marketing.
Love
looks
a
very
white
nice.
fox.
Now, good natural light. Even though it's south facing, you have excellent natural light.
It looks really nice.
Excellent, I think excellent, you know, good quality living. I can see there you got Luna Park and the Palais Theatre in the background. Very chic, very classic, very spacious. I think it's something that would be very attractive to someone. Now, I'm not sure whether this is going to sell, but on a square metre rate, that does seem not like a big amount of money.
Yeah, you're right, and it's just X factor, like that upstairs area. If you like St Kilda, it's unique, like you said before, and I think it will bring a lot of different types of, well, to be honest, I think it will bring lots of different types of buyers, but...
Now, not everyone is attracted to one-bedroom apartments, so naturally when you're buying apartments, there's only a certain amount of people would buy one-bedders. Two-bedders probably more attractive than a one-bedder, and once you get even more bedrooms, then there's less buyers for it as well. But, given its size, I just think for someone, it's not a huge quantum of money for the average person. It's kind of in that first home buyer range. So even for some sort of person that goes, it's my first home buyer property, at the moment there's stamp duty savings when you buy a property. It's your first property from $600,000 to $750,000. And so, look, I think there's a lot of things that are quite attractive to it, and it's a really hip, cool, fun area. There's Mr. Wolf Pizza downstairs too, so you can buy yourself a margarita and sit in your, your pad upstairs.
Hey.
So that's number three.
Number three, all right, should we go to number two?
Bring it on.
So, big boy, this actually was, it stumped me. I was looking at it, the Penthouse / 259 Normanby Road, South Melbourne, Ben.
Now that is a hustling and bustling and ever-changing area at the moment.
Ever-changing, yeah, but tell me, I thought it was off the plan originally, but then I did a bit more digging and I went on to Nearmap. Now, Nearmap, we'll link it here. It's a great visual platform which you can see all like the, what do you call it?
Bird's eye view.
Bird's eye view.
Satellite image.
Yep, like kind
very
of.
Very detailed.
Detailed, yeah. So I looked and it's complete, the exterior at least. And I'm not sure about the interior, but the photos on this listing are the renders. So don't get confused between a render and an actual photo. Renders are like the architect designed photos and the interiors that are used to sell off the plan before it's built.
Yeah, because Marcus, like when your average apartment development, how does the developer sell the apartments, and what sort of comes first?
Yeah, you got to market it, and that you need pre-sales. So pre-sales are crucial so the developer is able to fund the project. So you put a pre-sale down, so one deposit, let's call it 100 grand. If he gets tons of those, then or 50%, he might go into construction. And it depends on the developer and how their financing is structured. But generally you need pre-sales to commence.
Yeah, generally, because a developer, when they've got their land, they've got their permit to build the apartment development, in order for the bank to give them funding to continue the development, the bank will have a requirement for pre-sales. And so pre-sales is, I sell you the apartment, it hasn't been built yet, but I've got a commitment to you to build this apartment. And normally what happens is a 10% deposit is put down by the buyer, and then the remaining of that will be put down once the property has been formally finished.
Yes.
But in order to sell you the dream and, to properly market it and show you what it's going to be like.
Persuade you to buy.
That's right. You need to have these render images.
Yeah, so these renders here. So firstly, in a good location between Southbank and South Melbourne, but has the South Melbourne postcode. Yep. Great access to the city, South Melbourne market, various transport, the arts precinct, and is it R Iconic? That's the building name, I think. R Iconic. It's not the developer. So it's...
We will put the developer's name right up here.
Yep, thank you. Distinguished by double level void that opens to grand open spaces. The Penthouse is don't know that word, entertainer and unrestrained in luxury and scale. Designed by internally acclaimed interior designer, David Hicks, Benny boy.
Now, a bit about this developer. I know that they've developed some very large projects in the past, and generally they do one project by one project at a time. So all the energy is focused on this project.
Yep.
And so this is in a new area. Fisherman's Bend or the South Melbourne area is going through, you know, a huge development at the moment. There's lots of big projects.
Yes.
It's close to the CBD, like Marcus mentioned. It's close to South Melbourne Market. But this building itself, it's now topped out, so it's hit, you know, the top level that it is.
People are living in it potentially already.
Probably even on the lower levels.
Past it.
But, you know, it's an exciting, the renders look really nice. There you go. If you like wine, if you like natural light. It's got sprawling ceilings.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, I can see that this sort of apartment to someone would be quite attractive.
That's so cool. And even some of the windows, I'm not sure if that's the amenity or the views, but now I went digging again. I've done 2 weeks in a row of some good research. Internal area of 208 square metres.
Right.
Now, it is asking 6.25 million, Ben, I think.
Do the maths in your head.
$22,000 per square metre.
So it's over $20,000 a square metre.
Now, what do high-end apartments kind of go for? What's the range?
So in the real luxury areas in Melbourne, we're
East
seeing
Melbourne.
30,000 plus a square metre.
Yeah.
Sometimes right up to 40,000.
And so this is 22,000, but then if you look in Sydney to compare, like some Sydney things are going 50, 60, 70, 80, even 100K per square metre. And that shows you that the demand over there is just significant in Sydney, but also...
or that Melbourne looks good buying.
Yeah, it could be a good buying. Would I spend 6.25 million on this penthouse if I had 6.25 million? I'm not sure. You?
I think probably location-wise, I would naturally go to another location. But to some people that want a brand new apartment that, you know, it's got super views and probably will retain most of those views.
You'd hope so, yeah.
Arguably, maybe forever.
So if
but
6.25 million, I probably wouldn't buy it. But
let's have a look at the floor plan.
Yes. Master suite. Look how big it is. It doesn't have any dimensions on the actual floor plan. That's another one for our viewers. Try and find out the dimensions before you buy off the plan. Just make sure you know that they're not tiny rooms. This won't be because it's a penthouse.
Well, it does. The master bedroom looks very nice. Got a really, you know, nice ensuite, nice kind of wardrobe sort of area. Lots of windows, which is gorgeous. A really nice, large living room area.
It's a unique
Good
shape,
kitchen.
Ben. Like
it is. I think that's part of the building.
Yeah, it's cool. And you can see where it is on the floor plan.
Yeah.
If you look, you can see where it is in the building itself. Yeah, we'll zoom in.
Now, upstairs got two bedrooms with 2 bathrooms.
Ensuites as well.
And then they've got like a nice little living room area too, bit of an outdoor area
Spiral
too.
staircase.
All very stylish. But I think that creates a little bit of good separation. So people, if it's kids or whatever, other family members that are living upstairs, then they kind of had their own area where they can watch TV and hang out rather than, and then the main kind of dining living room area is downstairs. So a little bit of separation.
Which is great. The 2 bedrooms are on top of the master suite, but for example, in a house where you might be able to hear things through the actual, we'll call it timber if it's just a house. In this one, it'll be probably a concrete slab. You won't have too much issues, so in terms of acoustic-wise.
And what's interesting too, you can see upstairs there's a void. So
what's a void, Ben?
So a void is basically, it's quite a sprawling...
Double height?
Or higher.
Or triple height?
So it means that, so from the living room down there in the kind of corner area where it says void, we'll zoom in on that in our video, but it will feel very spacious in that living room area.
So there's an internal balcony essentially on this void space, and it's like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. You could be down here in the family living room, there's a void space, and you can see up into the next level.
So you can be a Rapunzel, Rapunzel let down your hair? Okay, anyway, we'll keep going on. So apart from that, was there anything else that you wanted to comment on, Marcus?
Let down my hair and then you can see climb up.
We do have quite nice luscious locks. But you can see there, we've got a render kind of showing just that living room area, showing the bedrooms upstairs.
It's quite remarkable, like the actual structure. You should go down and see it in South Melbourne. It's like a... I think it would have been done that way because of overshadowing, Ben. So
I think the way that the build was designed, and I think before when went for this permit, it might be higher than you would get nowadays because there's certain restrictions in Fisherman's Bend, all that South Melbourne area that never been put in.
Do you know why it's called Fisherman's Bend?
Because you can catch lots of fish there.
That's one.
Now, without further ado, are we on to our number one?
Number one, Ben, and I think you have been waiting to talk about this. He's done a lot of research.
I'm extremely excited about this apartment. Now, when you think of Southbank, what do you think of?
I think of big buildings.
Lots and lots of buildings. Now,
dense.
Extremely dense. There's a lot of people living in that area. It's particularly popular.
Dog boxes.
With a lot of... Well, they're not all dog boxes. I think there's some good apartments there, and this is probably one of them. Now, when you look at these sort of areas, there's lots of tall high-rises, and this one here is a penthouse.
Another penty.
Another penty, as you would say. But this one here is on the corner of Power Street and City Road. This building was developed by Central Equity. It's been there for a little while. It's called The Summit. Now this one is really, really interesting because Central Equity, what do we know about
Oh, well, they're just, they've been around for years and they've been doing developments in like West Melbourne, in the city.
But they're best known for
Southbank.
Southbank and CBD, and they probably developed most of they've developed probably more developments in Southbank than any other developer, I would argue, in that sort of area. They were one of the earliest starters there, and they're still going. And this was one of them.
Strong in the 2000s they started, didn't they, or even the 90s?
The exact years, well, I think they've been around for a while. We'll probably put it up here when they actually started and when they founded, but particularly over the last 10 to 15 years, they've been very active in that Southbank area.
Yep.
And so this is on the 25th level. It is north facing, fantastic.
Great natural light.
You're getting probably views of the CBD at this stage. And the internal ones, we can have a look at this stuff. It looks quite nice furnished on the inside, even though this has been built.
It's well staged.
Yeah, very well staged. But also the floorboards look nice. It's got quite a large balcony. On 2 levels.
Ooh.
Now, what's really interesting though is how big the internal area of this apartment really is.
How big is it, Ben?
360 square metres. I'm not talking about degrees. 360 square metres.
A 3-bed, 3.5 bath is 360 square
Actually, it might be
metres.
even 4 beds. Sorry, I might have done that wrong.
Let's have a double check
I think
here.
it's 4 bed. Just
1 second.
to clarify, hold the phone. 1, 2, 3 bed it is. So 3 bedrooms.
Oh, it's got a massive dining and living.
But a really nice dining room upstairs too. And it's got 2 cars.
Yep.
And then it's got this humongous 120 square metre terrace upstairs. So you could put a couple of tents up there and just sleep on the terrace if you wanted.
Wow.
Or very good for entertaining. You know, Southbank's very convenient near the city. So on a square metre rate, when
maths, Ben.
When we look at it, it's being quoted at, oh gosh, I haven't even written this down. I think it's being quoted at about 2 million.
Unlucky.
Pause it.
You got your phone there?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be able to do this on the top of his head.
I can do this in my head, but I don't want to make any mistakes for our viewers at home. So what's it being quoted at?
I don't know. You tell me. It's on here, yeah?
There we go. No, I didn't make the call, so was this going to work if I get
Nope, it's not going to work. 1 second, let's have a gaze.
Anyway, well, what we'll do, we'll say,
second.
I think it's been quoted for, I think it's about 2.2 to 2.4 from memory, but we'll put the exact over here.
Give us 1 second. Cut.
I'll keep talking about it while Marcus is doing his magic, but I think on a square metre rate, it's only looking at approximately $7,000 a square metre.
So it's asking Ben 2.4 to 2.64.
So let's say the upper end of the range, 2.6.
Give it a bit of an upper ender.
360. So it's just over $7,000 a square metre on the upper end range. So $7,000 existing stock.
That sounds alright.
It doesn't sound a huge amount of money, particularly for a penthouse.
Do you think, Ben, because it's so big, that might have brought the rate down? Usually they go up in higher end
What's
stock.
interesting with a lot of the existing stock in Southbank, because there's just so much of it, that they tend to not necessarily be near that $10,000 a square metre for existing older stock that might have been developed 10 years ago. So on a value sense, for what your dollar is getting you, it's quite good. And also, these sort of apartments lease incredibly well because there's a lot of international students and people coming to Australia that want to be close to the CBD. Southbank's very convenient. And so, in that sort of sense, I was looking at it and I was just thinking, you know what, it actually looks quite good. But there is one thing that I know that you pointed out that we do need to be careful about.
I pointed out, I know. Like Ben, when you're looking at something in a dense area, what are we looking for? Are we looking for birds? Are we looking for planes?
No, we're looking for a super view.
Yeah, super view.
The only issue with this one that we looked at is that directly across diagonally across the road, there is a big development going up.
Ballua.
And not only is it big, it is as big as it gets in Australia.
And yeah, literally the biggest in Melbourne. It will be the tallest, I believe.
Now, it will be a very exciting thing. It's Southbank by Ballua. It is huge. It is the tallest apartment development in Melbourne, if not Australia, I think. Now,
Australia?
It's going to take quite a bit of time, probably developing for 4 or 5 years. But this, and we're going to put up a kind of a view of what it might look like. It will block most of the view.
It blocked most of the view, but to be honest, I love the render of the Ballua development. If you like the render, maybe buy it, the apartment, but if you don't, then don't buy it because your view's going to be blocked.
But like the view isn't everything too as well. So if you're living in Southbank, you're probably just, its convenience is really important, and you understand that there's lots of apartments and buildings around you, and you're right in the hustle and bustle of it. But I think on a square metre rate, it looks pretty good. The only issue I would have is that it would be quite noisy, potentially over the next couple of takes a bit of time.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's probably what I think about it. It looks quite good on a square metre rate, but you know, there's a couple of challenges here and there.
Would you buy it, Ben, for the amount?
I
2.6?
probably personally wouldn't buy it, but I think to some person it would be quite attractive. I think on a square metre rate, it looks like good value. It's just, there's a couple of challenges with the noise and the view.
It's a lot of money, however you're getting a lot of space.
True.
So it's a bit of a trade-off. Like, do you prefer great views in a smaller apartment for 2.6 or a large apartment, not as much view?
That's a good point.
Great point.
You always have a lot of wisdom, Marcus.
So, wisdom, yes. Thank you so much for today. We've gone through 5 of our top 5 on the market.
So remember to leave your comment down below. Tell us about which ones you thought, if you liked what we introduced, if we didn't like, if we missed out anything this week that you thought we should have been talking about. And just remember to like, subscribe, repost, and let us know if you like the podcast.
Sounds good.
Thanks for watching.
See you, Property Palz.
Bye.
Bye.